Breeze Nation, what is good? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love to another edition of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. On today's episode, we got to have a conversation, ladies and gentlemen, because I'm going to tell you, and I am ready for the fight, why the Chicago Bears are actually in a better spot now than they were heading into last offseason. I'm going to tell you why this Bears organization, even with all their ineptitude, all of the jokes that we are going to make about them, all the trash that we are going to throw their way, and there's going to be a lot of that for me as well, are still in a better spot now than where they were heading into last season. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. I need y'all to go ahead and
come on. Push the button. Come on. Push the button. Come on, push the button.
Yeah, come on, push the button.
You heard what she said.
Y'all heard what Sue Young said. Push the button. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Appreciate y'all for rocking with me today. How y'all doing, man? This is an old school Pat and the people. I'm going to get y'all comments involved in this as well. I'm going to get you guys involved in the conversation because I like the back and forth with you. We're going to have some conversation, especially on days like today where, yes, ladies and gentlemen, prepare yourself. I am going to bring up Justin Fields because he is a part of last season. There you go. You ready? All right, let's get into it. To me, when you're having a conversation on where the Chicago Bears are right now versus the future, you have to look at this team in totality. And I'm not going to say there haven't been massive missteps. Let's start off with Ryan Poles' decision to hold on to Matt Eberflus. Let's start off with Ryan Poles' decision to bring in Shane Waldron. Let's start off with Ryan Poles' decision to run back this same offensive line in a sense, but basically just swapping the names around. I mean, there's a lot of bad on this team, especially coming into this year. But I don't think that the world is ending. I don't think that you have to look at this as a gloom and doom situation. I don't think that you have to look at this as a situation that cannot be fixed long term. Now, if you want to look at this as a situation where you're going to say, are the Bears going to allow it to be fixed? I'm here with you. I said on the morning show yesterday, I do believe that this team is a head coach away from getting this thing right. But are you going to hire that head coach? But the one thing that I do want to do is break this team down on both sides of the ball. We know the trenches is a mess. We know the trenches is a problem for the Chicago Bears right now. Here's where I think you're in a better position this season than you were last season. When you look at the trenches, there's nothing else you can go out and attack. When you look at the trenches, there's nothing else that you can go out this offseason and say, I'm going to go out here and spend money on this. Nothing. And so you would think that that would lead you to believe, and I can't say whether he's going to get it right or not, that Ryan Poles is going to attack the trenches this offseason. That has been the biggest problem for this team in 2 years. I think you had an opportunity this offseason to absolutely go out there and fix this problem. I think you had an opportunity last offseason to absolutely go out there and add pieces to this offensive line that could have absolutely had us not having this conversation right now. Realistically speaking, if we're going to have a conversation on the offensive line, you go out, you get Tyler Biazza, you go out and you get Jackson Powers Johnson in the second round of this draft. You go out and you add pieces that were absolutely available to you. And we're not sitting here having this conversation right now. But as I've started to break down more of the offensive linemen, and it seems like the Bears are going to be in a good situation, realistically speaking, draft-wise, I should say. You're going to come out of this draft with offensive linemen that hopefully are going to help you. Now, whether Ryan Poles gets this right or not, that's a question. I'm not going to sit here and promise you or tell you that I'm coming into this season with a belief in the world that Ryan Poles is going to go out there and he's going to get every single name right. I'm not telling you at all that I'm going out there believing that Ryan Poles is going to go out there and he's going to find the perfect name at offensive line, because at this point, he's 1 for 7 But at a minimum, you have the draft capital to go out and attack that position. You have 3 picks in the top 59 picks in the draft this season. It seems like those picks are getting higher and higher. You have the opportunity to also go out and spend money, because I would doubt at this point that you're bringing back Keenan Allen as much of a you want to run this thing back as he says. The real scenario is Keenan Allen is probably on the outs, and that means that you're going to get the draft capital back. Although I do think that was a good move by Ryan Poles to bring him in. At worst, you get a guy that shows this wide receiving room that was very young outside of DJ Moore. Hey, this is how you prepare for a game. This is how you go out and you get yourself ready. I think that you've added some really good depth at that position. I still like a Colin Johnson out there. I think that you've got Roma Dunze out there who adds to that, and you're teaching those guys how to be pros. I like that. On the flip side of it, you're also having a conversation on heading into next season with that pick that you're going to get from him getting signed. You're also heading into next season with that pick that you're going to get from him going to another team, which I do think a team is going to look at Keenan Allen, look at the situation that he was in here and go, no, I'd be willing to pay for Keenan Allen heading into next year. I still think that that's going to be an opportunity for you. Looking at the wide receiver room, you've got the answers there. Looking at the running back room, some questions, but I think there's guys you can take late. DeAndre Swift, unfortunately, is automatically coming back. But you've got pieces in place for you to be set. The real question is the trenches. The real question is, can you go out and find guys who are going to be able to play in the trenches and be able to give you some elite production? But the best part of that question is it's the only thing that Ryan Poles can focus on heading into this offseason. Like the video if you agree. I like Noah P's comment. If Poles gets it wrong, he's definitely fired. Yeah, you send Caleb Williams out there to be one of the most sacked quarterbacks all time again. Yeah, probably going to lose his job. Probably going to lose his job. The other thing that makes me feel like this Bears team is in a better situation than they were last season. And yes, it is, again, off of a Ryan Poles mistake, but a mistake that has been corrected. Matt Eberflus ain't walking through that door. Matt Eberflus is not going to be somebody who's going to be a part of this Bears organization moving forward. To me, that already puts you on the up and ups. And what I mean by that is, and I know that for some reason we've forgotten it later on. Now that has nothing to do with the word on Twitter. That has nothing to do with how people are living on Twitter, because they're just looking to point their ire at somebody. There's these weird two sects that have popped up in the Bears fan base this season. Now there's the side of things that just feels Justin Fields was given a raw deal. So no matter what Caleb Williams does, you're never going to give Caleb Williams a fair shot, which that's your prerogative. It is what it is. And then there's the side that basically looks at everything that Caleb Williams does and says, well, we should have took the haul. We could have had all of these things fixed, which, listen, remember, y'all know, I agree with you. I wanted to take the haul. I wanted to fix the offensive line. I didn't want to put a quarterback back in this position, but that's not what happened. And with all that being said, for Justin Fields and for Caleb Williams, you watched a head coach and a coaching staff absolutely cost you playoffs in back-to-back seasons. Am I wrong? Somebody tell me I'm wrong. I don't know why we've forgotten that. I don't know why that's not part of the conversation. For some reason, in Caleb Williams' rookie year, that's not part of the conversation anymore. That's not the conversation we're having. We're not talking about Matt Eberflus, who we watched smoke 3 games for Justin Fields, who we watched smoke the playoffs for the Bears last season. We're not talking about him as part of the reason that this season your young quarterback lost 4 games that we clearly could see That's not on you. That's on him effing up. And yeah, if you play better earlier in the games, I do agree you're not in that position. If you play better earlier in the games, I do agree that that you're not in a position where it comes down to Matt Eberflus's decision making. But Matt Eberflus plays a part in that as well. It's not just the players. Now, I do think that it is on the players. You can make the plays. You can make the catches. You can go out there and catch the football on third down, Keenan Allen. You can go out there and catch the football. DJ Moore, Rome Odunze, in those big moments, you can go out there and make the pass. But now it's Caleb Williams' fault that Matt Eberflus was fired. Oh, I'm watching Twitter. I see what's happening. I see the comments. He got his head coach and his offensive coordinator fired in his first year here. No, what got Matt Eberflus fired is losing those games. Don't forget that. What got Matt Eberflus fired is never winning a single football game on a Sunday on the road. That's what got Matt Eberflus fired. Let's not forget that. I love this revisionist history of 4 weeks. But that's what got Matt Eberflus fired. What got Shane Waldron fired? You want to know what got Shane Waldron fired? It's not the rookie quarterback who's broken every single rookie stat this season. For the Chicago Bears. Of course, got to add that caveat in there. It's not the young man that's absolutely gone out there and overcome situations that we have seen quarterbacks die in. It's not the young man who stood back there and has become the 13th most sacked quarterback in the NFL. And if things keep going the way they've been going this season with this offensive line, he's going to be top 3. It's not him. What got Shane Waldron fired is the fact that every single week, some of the best offensive minds that are now post-football, that are watching the game on the outside, some of the best guys that have played this game, some of the best guys that have gone out there and balled out in this NFL, looked at Shane Waldron's scheme and went, why are there 4 wide receivers standing in the same spot? What got Shane Waldron fired is the fact that Shane Waldron went out there week in and week out and had no answer for why the heck he couldn't get a running back involved in this game at all. Why the heck aren't we targeting Cole Kmet at all when Cole Kmet had a 90+% rating? That's what got Shane Waldron fired. And so for me, when I hear people come out and they're looking to paint everything as Caleb Williams' fault, I have a tough time even listening to the conversation. Because I would ask you, are you watching the rest of the NFL? Are you watching the fact that Sam Darnold has turned into one of the best quarterbacks in the league behind a good offensive line and, I don't know, a couple of weapons being in place? Maybe a head coach that knows how to develop a quarterback. Are you watching that? Are you watching the fact that C.J. Stroud has taken a step back because his left tackle has been injured all season and that offensive line has been banged up? Are you watching that? Are you watching the fact that Baker Mayfield, who in Cleveland was thought of as done, who was the scout team DB at one point, is now thriving down in Tampa Bay with an offensive line and a coaching staff that puts him in good place? Are we watching that? Or are we just coming into this with preconceived biases? Because remember, I was the Justin Fields guy. I was the advocate for Fields this offseason who wanted him to stay so that he didn't get put in this position. And when a quarterback came in, I looked at him and went, pretty good. I was standing where you were standing, but I could look at this thing objectively. I can look at this game in a different manner and say, you want to know what? This kid's standing in there and doing things that no one else has been able to do in the Chicago Bears organization. The one thing that I ask people to do is for the things that we were standing there begging people this offseason, begging people to give Justin Fields leeway for in year 3 of his career, I would ask you to give that same leeway to Caleb Williams in year 1 for a young man who's been put in the same position. By the way, in that time, putting up better offensive numbers. In that time, not turning the football over. In that time, breaking Bears rookie records that have been set by old Chuck and Charlie O'Rourke down the right sideline. Now, I agree. There's a lot of things Ryan Poles has to address, but you're coming into a new season with an opportunity to build a culture. And for some reason, we forgot what effed up the culture. For some reason, we've forgotten that Matt Eberflus has cost you 7 games in 2 years. And he's not here anymore. This ain't a Matt Nagy situation where you could look at the QB and go, it's on you on that one, bro. You threw the ball straight to him. Maybe it's not Nagy. No, this is legitimate. You watched a coaching staff over 2 seasons cost you playoffs 2 years in a row. And so for me, when I see the opportunity to hire somebody in here, now whether the Bears do it or not, that's on the Bears. But the opportunity to hire somebody in here who has been a culture setter in other organizations, who has been a culture setter, and I'm speaking on Mike Vrabel here, in different situations, who has been somebody who's pushed back and who has won and who has gone to AFC title games and all of those things. I see a guy who I do believe can walk in here and not cost you those games and moments. When I see the guy who outsmarted Bill Belichick in the moments when the moments were brightest. And so for me, I do think that you're heading into a better situation this offseason than where you were last offseason. I do think that you're heading into a better winning situation this offseason than you were heading into last offseason. And hopefully Ryan Poles sees that as well. Hopefully Ryan Poles makes the right decisions to finish out this season so that you can see that as well. Let's go to the comments, man, because I see y'all in here. Some of y'all trying to be spicy up in this mug, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. And whether we agree or not, it is what it is. Whether we agree or not, it is what it is. Jay Sanders said, Flus is no longer here. Waldron is no longer here. Poles is still here. Blame him. Sure. I told you week 2 of the season, we're blaming Poles. I told you week 2 of the season, this season falls at Poles' feet. Did I not? Have I not been on Ryan Poles' heels all offseason? Have I not been on Ryan Poles' heels all season? I agree with you. Andrew says Thomas Brown doesn't target Cole either. And Thomas Brown will not be a part of this staff. Thomas Brown will not be here moving forward. That much we can guarantee. Robert Diaz said, at least Chris Morgan is guaranteed to be fired after this year. I hope so, dog. Because I'm not going to lie, that's one of the wildest things in the world. This man had a terrible offensive line last season. Everybody was just like, I think how about we promote him? And that's what's big for me too, right? Like to me, I think that having Kevin Warren in the room, some of the decisions will have to go through Kevin Warren as well, especially some of these personnel decisions. I'm not saying that that's going to be the greatest situation for you to be in, but realistically speaking, if you're so buddy with the people in the building, if you're crying that you're cutting the third string corner or DB, if you're so buddy that you can't sit there and go, hey, you're not good, then you're not the guy that needs to be making the decisions at the top. Super chat here from Paulie G. Shout out Paulie G in the building. Oh, it's at the bottom. Hold up. I scrolled up. Said, Poles got one more year, but what real coach wants to come here if he's got to answer to Warren and his GM might not get extended? Well, here's the thing. Sometimes, and I think in the case of Mike Vrabel, you come in with guys that you already have that you know work the way that you want to work. I'm not saying that's great, but I have seen that work. Realistically speaking, if we're being real about it, isn't that what Jim Harbaugh kind of did a couple of times where he's just like, I'm going to take over. You can have the title, but I'm going to run the show. I'm going to take this thing over, but I'm going to have the show. You can be GM by name. You can have the whole title. But just know we're drafting a left tackle in the first round. V-Dog said, question, Pat, do you think Flus got fired based off the full 3 years because people forget he was here for 2.5 because he got hired in 2022? Year one doesn't count because it was a complete teardown. Look, Flus is not here, yes, for the full 3 years, but I mean, like, it's not realistically right. Year one is year one. Year one's a success. That's why when people list the record to me, it's stupid. Now, if you want to list this year, I'm there with you. If you want to list this year, I'm 100% there with you. But year one was successful. Ryan Poles' plan was to tear down everything, lose as many games as possible, get the first overall pick. Did that. Pulled off a crazy trade. Got a bunch more draft picks. Got the haul. Went into year two, said, let's see what Justin can do. I don't think he gave Justin enough. As we head into year three, I think you needed to address O-line a heck of a lot more than you did with your previous quarterback. Year three is a failure. Miserably. Do I think his draft was a failure? Yeah. I think Caleb and Rome are the guys. But year three for me, this is horrible. This is horrible. Peter says, the only thing I can't understand is how everyone can see the problems at basic levels, yet people in charge who are paid cannot or don't want to address those issues. That to me is insane. 100%. 100%. 100%. I get it. Go back and look at everything from training camp and how many videos I came on and said, yo, he's got to address O-line. He's got to address the center position. He's got to address the left tackle position. He's got to sign somebody, right? He ignored it. That's what's worse to me. That to me is where I think that this team has failed. That to me is where it's just like your process is flawed in that moment. Jay Sanders said Poles purposely didn't give Justin enough. He needed an excuse to get rid of him. Justin still played his ass off. Again, what are we saying is enough? Because, and we all agreed with this last season, the Bears should have been a 10-win team, right? With Justin. If not for 3 bad coaching decisions, did we not say the Bears had the ability to be a 10-win team. If you're a 10-win team, did you not have enough? If you finish that season with 10 wins, does he not have enough? Like, we can't just forget that we all said that. We can't just forget that that's a part of the story because it doesn't fit the narrative that we want to put out there. Did he give Caleb more weapons? 100%. He did. Gave him a same level offensive line, if not worse at times, because now all these guys are completely beaten up. Gucci finesse, not me. I'll root for Justin and Lamar and continue to make fun of Bears fans for being idiots. Okay. Dilly dilly. All right, I guess. Go ahead. So you're not a Bears fan then? Don't really care about your opinion. The D-Man, the DM625. Dog, get a real name. What the heck is going on here? This mug dropped the full email in this mug. Pat, which tackle do you like most in the first round in this upcoming draft? Will Campbell, right? Ain't that his name? Will Campbell out of LSU. That's been my number one so far. That's been my top guy so far. But I haven't gone super deep in depth yet because I'm still in season mode. But the second this season ended, or season ends, I will have full breakdowns coming out. Andrew says our D-line is pretty trash too. No, 100%. D-line is terrible. Will says stop the Jim Harbaugh crap. The NFL passed him by. He is punting 4th and 3 from opponent's 40 with Herbert at QB and winning. I'm sorry, did I forget when the NFL came down to wins? Because that's why we're all upset right now, right? That's why everybody's mad right now, right? Some tough decisions in there, some up and down decisions for sure. But did I miss that that's why Bears fans are upset right now? Do you think if we had the Chargers record right now that we would be upset? That I'd be sitting here doing a video talking about why the Bears are in a better spot now than last offseason? Asking for a friend. Paulie G with another super chat said, crazy after getting our 4th win, everything was good, and now we're still at 4 wins. LMAO can't make it up, straight dumpster fire. Hopefully Poles retools the line and we hire a coach who's good. And that's what I mean, though, right? To me, that's the conversation that you have to have about this. We want everything to be gloom and doom. We want everything to be gloom and doom. But it doesn't mean that we can't turn this around. Now, you got to make some right decisions. And as a Bears fan, am I going to sit here and tell other Bears fans not to question Ryan Poles' decision-making? Every single one of us spent all offseason sitting in here going, oh, my God, you got to get an offensive lineman, right? You got to get an offensive lineman, right? You got to get an offensive lineman, right? Oh, there goes that guy. Okay, well, there's other offensive linemen available. You got to get an offensive. Oh, boy. Hey, you got to get an offensive lineman, bud? We traded for an offensive lineman. Here we go. Yeah. Ryan Bates? That's not what I meant when I said you got to go get an offensive lineman, bud. Roddy B said, shout out for the super chat, Roddy B as well. Thank you for supporting the channel. He said, the fact that Poles thought this roster was complete, saying it will be hard to make this roster, took a punter plus the Dan Wiederer story. He has to go. Here's the only thing that I'll say about this. And a lot of people have asked me my opinion. Do I think that Ryan Poles needs to be fired or not? Hit that like button if you have not done so. Subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. Do I think that Ryan Poles needs to be fired for the decisions that he's made this offseason? I think that if next year doesn't go as planned, you will be preparing to move on from Ryan Poles anyway. From what I've done, digging deeper into this offensive line draft, I would say that there are better offensive linemen available than I thought in the draft coming into this season. But I think you do the team as a whole and you do Caleb as a whole a disservice if you just fire Ryan Poles. I think you allow him the opportunity to finish out whatever this version. And listen, next year's the finish. You did it backwards. You got targets, you got quarterback, and you got all this stuff. Next year, you get to attack the trenches. You better be right. And you don't get to have a Karan Amagaji. You don't. You don't get to have a Braxton Jones. You better be right. You better have offensive linemen that are out there looking competent. Appreciate y'all for tuning in, showing love, man. I love rocking with y'all in these comments, man. I love rocking with y'all in the comments. Jimmy Hoffa, what are you doing in here? I already addressed this, Jimmy. Caleb got 2 men fired because he holds the ball. No. Those 2 men got themselves fired. Caleb Williams is a rookie. He's the best rookie quarterback we've had here. Them 2 men's got themselves fired. But Jimmy, what you need to worry about is, are y'all going to be in this playoff race? Because for all the smack talking you did this season, y'all might be sitting right there with us at home. Shout out Jimmy. I appreciate him tuning into the show. Noah P said, I think we need a left tackle and a center. Move Jenkins to right tackle and the human quad to left guard. Human quad. I don't know about the human quad getting moved to left guard, but that is hilarious. I like that name. It's Crimson said, no, Pat, I don't want it to be doom and gloom. I'm just not going to pretend it's all getting better when it isn't yet. I didn't say it was. I didn't say you're good today. I said you're in a better position this offseason than you were last offseason. Now, being in a better position doesn't mean that you're going to make the right decisions in that position. Being in a better spot doesn't mean that it's all great, that it's all kumbaya. You still got to go out and make the right decision. You still got to go out and get the right piece. You still got to go out and get the right head coach. You still got to go out and get the right coaching staff to go with that head coach. But can I sit here and look at this team and say, yeah, I like some of the things that you're heading towards? For sure. Looking at the comments here. Give me a second. Rodney Henning said, but Pat, I like the exclamation points. I like a guy that uses good punctuation on a comment. Doesn't he have people in the draft room with him to say, hey, Poles, what are you doing drafting a kicker when they need O-line help? You thought so. You'd hope so. They had a guy in there that basically said you can't draft up to go get Roma Dunze when he's going to be there later. But see, my question isn't the guys in the room in that moment saying that Tory Taylor should be drafted. My problem is that you have scouts coming back that are telling you that the offensive linemen that are available to you aren't worth drafting or signing. My problem is that the offensive line that was available to you, you looked at as beat up pieces that aren't going to be able to heal and come back in the league. Meanwhile, those guys have gone out and played pretty good football this season. That's my biggest problem with the guys that are in the room. Peter Lewinsky? Did I say that right? Lanuski. Peter Lanuski, I think. Pat, you think the Hail Mary was a blessing in disguise? Yes, we're losing, but it puts a giga spotlight, I like giga, spotlight on everything and is forcing needed moves. If we won, everything is okay. I don't know. Because if you win that game, we're crediting Flus for winning a tough game. We're crediting Caleb Williams for leading a drive that puts you back in the position, which I think, right, those are things that are valid pieces. But I think that the Washington game, I don't think that losing the Washington game is what put the spotlights on them. I believe that Tyreek Stevenson showboating in the corner showed the true lack of discipline that this team has in all its glory. The result of him losing that game definitely adds to the Chicago Bears and the dumpster fire that they have become. But to me, Tyreek Stevenson standing in the corner in an unacceptable fashion, Matt Eberflus not calling a timeout that absolutely puts them in a position to win, giving up the 15 yards on that play after not calling a timeout. Like all of those things to me are the reason that I look at Matt Eberflus and why he gets fired. And I think that's really what put the spotlight on the lack of discipline that this team has. And then everybody after that going, I wouldn't have done it. We shouldn't have done it. That absolutely shouldn't have happened. It is what it is. Keith J. Hall says we're in a better position, but the O-line has to be addressed in a big way this offseason, 100%. Right now, the Bears have a QB who everyone is babying, no coach, no OC, with a team that has given up. I love this stance of Caleb Williams is a massive downgrade over Justin Fields that a lot of fans are taking on social media, and I'm getting all the comments now because I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a post that kind of I retweeted because here was the statement that I heard from everyone who was on the Caleb Williams side coming into the season. And by the way, some of those have transitioned back to Justin Fields supporters because the Bears have been in a losing situation, which I think is hilarious because you couldn't like them both. But to me, the comment that I heard the entire offseason was that if Caleb Williams in his rookie season could give you the same production as Justin Fields year 3 or better, that it was worth it. And while some people want to just turn a blind eye to things, I do believe that you can look at Caleb Williams and listen, it's my opinion, it's your opinion. I'm not here to change your mind, but you left the comment. In my mind, there's no question you can't look at Caleb Williams and say he's not already a better offensive player than Justin Fields. I love Justin. I think Justin he brings more dynamic play with his legs. But if we're looking at both of these guys, and by the way, I think both of these guys would benefit from the same thing. Upgraded offensive line, better weapons. I wanted that for Justin Fields. But I can't deny what I'm seeing from Caleb Williams in year 1. 2,900 yards passing through 14 games and counting. 408 rushing yards, 17 passing touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He's lost 4 fumbles, 87.7 quarterback rating on the season. He has broken the rookie passing record for the Chicago Bears. He is breaking the rookie passing touchdown record for the Chicago Bears. I don't know how much better these stats get, but realistically speaking, you've seen the best quarterback that has been in Chicago Bears uniform as a rookie. Justin Fields in year 3, 2,500 passing yards, 2,562, 657 rushing yards, 16 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns, 9 interceptions, 4 fumbles lost, quarterback rating of 86.3. Total yards for both of these guys, 3,345 for Caleb Williams, 3,219 for Justin Fields. In his rookie year, Caleb Williams hasn't shown you that he can pass the football. In his rookie year, Caleb Williams hasn't shown you that he can drive you down the field in game-winning situations. Because if we're just saying no, I mean, good job. Like, but you've watched Caleb Williams lead you on multiple game-winning drives. Again, I was a Justin guy. Crimson said, that's all great, Pat. Do they give out trophies for that? No. But my point is, are you in a better spot? There's no question in my mind at the quarterback position right now, you're in a better spot. There's no question in my mind at the quarterback position, you have a guy that can lead you down the field on game-winning drives at the end of the game. You give Nagy to Caleb just like Justin had his first year. We're talking easy rookie of the year. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. That offensive line was fairly abysmal as well. That offensive line was a pretty big joke as well. Show Justin Fields' weapons compared to Caleb Williams' weapons. 100%. Caleb has better weapons. Caleb has same level offensive line. Y'all know how I feel about it. Your weapons are your weapons. Your weapons are your weapons. Doesn't matter if you're on your back. Just like I said for Justin Fields, doesn't matter if you can't throw the football. Doesn't matter if your starting center is falling. The second that the football is snapped backwards. It doesn't matter. You have to address the real issues on this team. And if you're ignoring those issues, you're not watching the NFL. Sam Darnold's a good quarterback. There's no better way to say it. Sam Darnold is a good quarterback. Offensive line matters. Y'all remember how y'all talked about Sam Darnold? Y'all remember how we trashed this man? Justin has the same amount of wins as Caleb. Jay Sanders, I remember you in here saying wins are not a quarterback stat. Y'all think I don't remember y'all? Y'all think I don't remember y'all? Remember that? Wins are not a quarterback stat. Remember, that was all over the world. I was with you. And I'm still there. Wins are not a quarterback stat. Wins are a team stat. You know what helps the team? An offensive line up front that protects the quarterback. Carl, the O-line is better now. I'm gonna start doing y'all. I'm gonna start hitting y'all with the Hayes voice. Hold on, let me do this. I'm having fun. I ain't done one of these in a minute. What are these joints at?
The O-line is better now.
Yeah. Starting center who can't stand up. When you say that on the stream last year. On the stream last year. I'll go through and find it. Don't worry about it. I'll go through and find it. Because you were on my side last year when I was defending Justin. I remember it. I'm just saying. When I was defending Justin, I was your favorite streamer. Now back to where'd my man go? Did I scroll too far down? Did I lose it? I lost his comment. I remember it though.
The O-line is better now.
You have a center who's 299 pounds and is getting pushed over. You have a left tackle who's the same left tackle that I sat there and joked about all last season for Justin Fields. And heading into this season. Figured we needed to upgrade it. You had a left guard who was banged up last year, who's banged up this year. You had a right tackle who had promise, but you didn't know. You had a right guard that you didn't know if he cared about football. Where's the O-line better? Somebody let me know. Am I tripping? Somebody let me know. Am I tweaking? Because these are the same things that I said last season. It's why I said you needed to upgrade. It's why I said in week 2, this Bears team this season is at the feet of Ryan Poles. It's why I said this season, this Bears team is completely on Ryan Poles screwing up and not addressing the offensive line. That makes no sense based on the comment I just made, by the way. Like, if we're being real about this, it comes down to one thing and one thing only for me. The same thing that I said was the problem last year. Are you going to go out there and are you going to go out and try and attack the offensive line to help a young quarterback, which you haven't done since Jay Cutler was in here? Realistically, you never gave him a left tackle. B-Dog said it is better to just have one position to focus on upgrading, Pat, because you got majority of the roster already in place going forward. You hope so. You hope so. I think you still need running back. I'll see if I can find one in the 4th round. But it's not like these are easy positions to find. And my case in point is, look at the Bengals. The Bengals have spent money on the offensive line. The Bengals have gone out and put money into this O-line year after year after year after year, and it's not better. When you get the opportunity to find one of these guys, you got to take that opportunity. It's not something that you can sit there and just say, oh, we'll figure it out. It's not something that you could just sit there and say, oh, we'll get it together eventually. Don't worry about it. You don't get that luxury at O-line. How many elite left tackles are in this NFL? How many elite starting centers are in the league? You had an opportunity at 3 centers this offseason, and you looked at all of them and said, nah, we're good. By the way, 190 in the building, 58 likes on the video. Let's hit that like button, man. Subscribe to the page. Leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do. It's Crimson said, hey, Pat, remember when the Bengals passed on Penei Sewell to take Jamar Chase? Pepperbridge Farms remembers. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, like that's what I mean, though. When you talk about setting a franchise back, when you talk about missing, those are the misses that it's very difficult to recover from. I like this comment from Will. Burrow's still playing at a Hall of Fame generational talent level despite his offensive line. And that is one thing, and I said this on the last episode, one of my biggest criticisms of Caleb Williams is I get bad offensive line. I get it. I've been clamoring for it for 3 quarterbacks now. I get it. But what makes Joe Burrow be able to survive those offensive lines? Why is Joe Burrow able to still be at an elite level when you look at the offensive lines that he has in front of him? Why? Because Joe Burrow don't miss. Caleb Williams, when you get Keenan Allen to put a disgusting move on a DB on the left side, and he's streaking down the sideline, you can't miss. You're not getting that many of those opportunities. When Jamar Chase is down the left sideline, Joe Burrow don't miss. When T. Higgins is open over the middle and Joe Burrow's about to take a sack, Joe Burrow don't miss. My biggest gripe about Caleb Williams this season, and why I said this morning that he needs to adjust it finishing out the season. You need to be better finishing out the season. You got to stop missing. What were there, 2 touchdowns yesterday? 2 touchdowns yesterday? That Caleb Williams you just look at and go, got to hit that. And that's been every single week this season. For me, there's a lot of things that make me feel like you're in a better position moving forward. There's a lot of things that I see that make me feel like, yo, you can go through all of this bad and actually end up on the right side of history in the end of it. But Caleb, you still got to make those plays when those plays are available to you, because those plays don't happen week in and week out. He said it on a post game show on ESPN 1000. He said you got to value every single possession. Those are the biggest parts of those possessions. Joe Burrow don't miss. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, leave a 5-star review. Y'all know what to do, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and rocking with us, man. I love having these conversations. I miss doing this. This that original Pat and the People energy. But we go back and forth. You know what I mean? We have difference of opinions. We have beef. We don't like it. We don't like the viewpoint that somebody else have. But at the end of the day, I can sit here and have a drink with you and enjoy talking Bears with you. That's what this all comes down to, man. Let me give TV 17 a little bit of time because this is our resident Tyson Bagent fan. It ain't just missing. Even if he was inaccurate AF and missed a lot of passes, he would still be pretty bad. And yet, he is the best passer in Chicago Bears history. You know what Tyson Bagent ain't? He's not going to get on the field. That's what's not going to happen. TB. Fire! That's my favorite part about doing this, man. That's my favorite part about doing this. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, man. Leave that 5-star review. Yeah, I know. I love y'all, man. Shout out to the pettiest man alive. Did I just see P Kid in the building? P Kid in the building, man. Appreciate y'all for tuning in and showing love. I'm gonna get up out of here, man. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Bear down, one love. It will get better one day. But probably not today. Y'all stay safe, Chicago. Peace.